Mr. Mushroom is missing, fleas are the new grubs, and the Silksong cake was real! Yes! Can we get much higher? Hollow Knight had a wide variety of memorable and unique NPCs that put their personality on display for the knight and the player to take in. NPCs can provide us hints, useful items, lore tidbits, and more. Depending on what they say, what they look like, and where they reside, you can learn a lot about the world around them as well. In Silksong, we'll be getting an entirely different dynamic as Hornet will actually be able to participate in conversations with NPCs rather than simply being a spectator. Here's every NPC we've seen so far in Hollow Knight Silksong pre-release and any bits of information we may know about them. And remember, this game has been in development a long time, so it's possible a lot of these things have changed in some way. Let's start with an NPC we know a lot of information about first, and then work our way into the more mysterious ones. Starting off with her design, this absolute unit of an NPC covers her body in what appears to be a massive bell, and she also has a helmet that resembles a sleigh bell. This makes sense when you know that she resides in the Deep Docks area, where many of the enemies also wear bells over their heads. We just don't know why wearing bells on their head is a common practice here just yet. Interestingly, Forge Daughter refers to herself in the royal we, which is typically used to emphasize royalty, importance, and/or divinity. When Hornet asks Forge Daughter if she is a smith, the response is, "A smith? Hardly so crude. We are Forge Daughter. How can a pointy bug not tell? Ours is the ancient line and honored role. These docks and lands around are fortunate to have our skills." It's clear then that Forge Daughter holds herself in extremely high regard, given the use of we and how she scoffs at being above a smith to Hornet. I also love that she has multiple dialogue entries calling Hornet a pointy bug, and she seems to imply that pointy bugs should be smart enough to know the difference between a smith and a Forge Daughter. Are non-pointy bugs dumb or something? She doesn't look very pointy herself, unless the sleigh bell is somehow hiding her pointy head. In terms of her gameplay role, Forge Daughter will be able to craft tools for Hornet in exchange for materials and currency. Many tools that Hornet can use in Silksong need to be crafted this way, such as her throwing knives, these spike traps, or even these cog flies. I'm sure we'll all be visiting Forge Daughter quite frequently to stay stocked up and well equipped throughout our time in Farloom. It's unclear at this point if Forge Daughter is also who we'll go to upgrade Hornet's needle, or if the needle will even have upgrades to begin with. Either way, I'm excited to find out who will help Hornet with that, if anyone. By now, you've surely also noticed in the footage on screen that Forge Daughter is accompanied by another NPC, Ballo. We know a lot less about Ballo, but I'll throw him in here real quick since he's Forge Daughter's assistant. He can be found in the same room shoveling coal. He also wears a bell on his head, and hitting him will cause Forge Daughter to laugh out loud. He does have some dialogue from what we've seen so far, but it's just, talk to the boss. Next up we have the Churchkeeper, whose gender we don't know just yet. Taking a look at their design, they really remind me of the snail shamans. It's possible under the cloak they have over their head that they could be wearing a snail shell since the shape is similar, but that's just a hunch really. They also carry a staff, which reminds me of the snail shaman that teaches the knight vengeful spirit in Hollow Knight. Taking a really close look at the staff they carry, you can see there's a hole on the shaft, possibly implying that the staff also functions as some kind of woodwind instrument. The connection between the Churchkeeper and the snail shaman runs deeper than just visuals though, as they also will appear very early in the game to provide some kind of guidance and advice to Hornet after defeating the Moss Mother, a very early game boss. Specifically after Hornet passes out too. This is somewhat of a parallel to how the knight passes out upon acquiring the vengeful spirit. Regardless if they are an actual snail shaman or not, they will at least fall into a similar role in the story. The Churchkeeper can also be seen in trailer footage singing while Hornet performs, making me think they will be responsible for teaching Hornet how the power of song works in Farloom, at least partially so. Another merchant we will probably be relieved to see as we explore is Chakra, Silksong's cartographer. Chakra is on a journey to find her master who vanished under mysterious circumstances. She hails from a clan of skilled fighters, so we won't be wondering how she survives certain perilous areas like our boy Cornifer sometimes. Her clan each all master one craft skill, and her chosen skill is cartography, which seems like a great skill to have when you're trying to track someone down. Similar to how Cornifer had map pages left behind as a way to help you find him in an area, Chakra will leave golden rings behind to help you find her. You can see she has golden rings on her wrists as well, and it makes me wonder if maybe she uses them to fight in some way. Last up for the merchants we know about so far is Grindle. Although Grindle is definitely a much more ambiguous character at the moment. Grindle is one of a few Silksong NPCs that were revealed via a riddle of sorts. He's described as a snitch bug. What little footage we have of Grindle comes in the form of a GIF where Hornet can be seen breaking him out of a cell. Apparently he spends a lot of time in those. This dynamic kinda reminds me of the knight saving Zote and possibly regretting it later because he's annoying about it. What sort of evil has Hornet unleashed back onto Farloom by freeing Grindle? Apparently the kind that loves to steal. Grindle is a thief and as a result has seen most of Farloom through cages or behind bars. But if he's a merchant, what kind of goods does he sell?
secrets.
Hornet can trade currency called rosaries with Grindle in exchange for information, although because of his nature, it's possible that some of his information may be a bit unreliable or exaggerated. That's all we've got on him so far, but I'm really excited to see what sort of secrets and lore this little bug is able to share with us once we finally meet him. These next three are all unique in that they go from boss to NPC. I covered these guys a bit in my Silksong bosses video, so I'll make their entries here quick. First up we have the Bell Beast, who starts off in an area called the Marrow and needs to be fought there once before she moves to another area. Eventually the Bell Beast will work with Hornet to become the fast travel method for Silksong. It's unclear if the Bell Beast will have spoken dialogue like the Stag did in Hollow Knight, so I'm not too sure how much of an NPC she'll be at the moment. I feel like with the name Beast, she may be more of a wild and free animal that Hornet is taming to aid her. So she might not even talk at all, but I wanted to mention her here in case she does. Another NPC revealed through a riddle or puzzle is Seth. He has strength and stamina beyond a normal bug, and guards a forgotten secret at the base of the Citadel. He also chucks his shield around like Captain America, so that's pretty cool. He seems to be a pretty chill guy once his fight is done too. Seth is a bit special as well, as Team Cherry worked with a fan named Seth to design the character. This was arranged by the Marty Lyons Foundation, who states that their mission is to fulfill the wishes of children ages 3 to 17 who've been diagnosed as having terminal or life-threatening illnesses. I'm very saddened to hear from many commenters that the real-life Seth has sadly passed away, and I'm sure he'd be very happy to know how many people are going to love the character that he helped design. Rest in peace, Seth. The character Seth is also described as having a connection to something called the Voice, which he shares in common with Trobio. Trobio first appeared in the new bosses portion of the Silksong reveal trailer. That's about all we've seen of him so far. So how do we know he's an NPC? Well, in the official Silksong press kit, Trobio's file is labeled as NPC rather than being labeled boss. This could just be an error when naming the files, and maybe we're reading too far into it, but I have a good feeling it's intentional and Trobio will go from boss to NPC just like Seth will. To give you an idea of his personality, Trobio is a performer and is seeking both fame and adoration throughout Farloom. You can tell he wants everyone to know his name because in the only footage we have of him so far, he leaps up and yells, "Trobio!" like he's some kind of Pokemon or something. Our next NPC is Sherma, a small bug on a spiritual journey of some kind. He wears a symbol on his head and carries two metal objects that we can see him use to open doors by clanging them together. Sherma is apparently not very well versed in combat or acrobatics and will be run into by Hornet at various points in the game, meaning there may be some situations where Hornet has to intervene and protect Sherma. I really hope nothing bad happens to this guy, and I'm curious to see where exactly his pilgrimage ends. The next set of NPCs come as a pair, Garmin and Zaza. I think the loud one with the mustache is Garmin, and I think the bug he's riding is Zaza. Garmin is described as the chattier one, while Zaza is described as the brains of their operation. I think it's kind of funny that the one that does all the yapping is the dumb one. The duo first appeared during the new quest section of the Silksong reveal trailer, making me suspect that maybe Hornet will be able to go out hunting or on bounty-like quests with them. We can also see that they help Hornet fight this big flying creature, so I wonder if they will just ask to hunt troublesome creatures with Hornet. I could be way off though, since the duo's main motive is apparently to find a new home. I'm not sure why they do a bunch of hunting side quests if their main objective is to find a new place to live, unless maybe they did find a new home during the events of the game, and the creatures they help fight are threatening that newly found home. We'll see soon enough. There's a new batch of cute and lovable bugs to find and rescue in Silksong, the Fleas. You may recognize these guys from the icon for the official Silksong subreddit if you spend enough time toiling there and going insane. They're this game's counterpart to the grubs from Hollow Knight. Instead of having just one grub father missing his grubs though, there's a whole caravan of fleas this time. They were a traveling group of performers that hope to gather the young fleas of Farloom, but the kingdom is much too dangerous for them to handle that on their own. This is where Hornet comes in, and I'm curious to see how the caravan will compensate Hornet for her help. Also, the fleas aren't in jars from what we've seen so far, they're just kind of lying around sleeping and fly off when Hornet gets close, presumably to join up with the caravan. Our final NPC revealed via riddles is the Huntress. She's a massive bug described as a towering old predator, waiting around for her eggs to hatch. She kind of creeps me out, and I don't want to wait around to see what her babies look like. She also just straight up asks Hornet if she would offer her insides as a meal to the baby, so that's something, I guess. This quirky character is called the Druid of the Moss Temple. They obviously reside in the Moss Grotto. In one of the trailers, we can see them brewing something in a cauldron, and we know that they'll give Hornet a quest to gather ingredients on their behalf. As for what kind of reward they'll give Hornet, or if they have any other role in the story after that, we don't know just yet. Now that we've covered every NPC we have concrete information on so far, here's a rapid-fire look at everyone we've just caught glimpses of. And that's it. That's everything I could find on every NPC we've seen so far. before we go, I wanted to give a special shout out to Cartilius from the comment section of my Silksong bosses so far video. Hope I pronounced that name okay. Cartilios pointed out that I missed a hidden boss that was included in the Silksong demo. To reach this boss, you had to go through what was described as a one-way wall or a hidden wall. Great catch, and I can't wait to learn more about this thing. Let me know in the comments any details I missed on NPCs, because there's absolutely no way that I found everything. Oh yeah, and one last thing. There is one NPC that's semi-confirmed, even though we haven't seen them yet. Where the hell is Mr. Mushroom?